Welcome to lesson 7-8. This is the last lesson in topic 7. Boy, that went fast. Today we're going to talk about volume with fractional dimensions. Before we get into 6th grade work, we're going to review a little bit of what you did in 5th grade, which was counting cubes. Say you had this rectangular prism and you wanted to know the volume of it. Well, first off, what is volume? Well, volume is the space inside a three-dimensional figure. And so we tend to count those in cubic units. So what we're looking at is how many cubes can we fit inside this figure. So there's my cube. And this cube is going to be 1 unit by 1 unit deep by 1 unit high. A cubic unit. A unit to the 3rd power. Cubic unit, cubed, that kind of thing. You get it. Remember, our area was units squared, square units, and linear measurements were just units. So now we're to volume. We're going 3D. So when we're doing this calculation, we start with the base, with the bottom, and let's pull that out. There we go. And if we were to count these, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units in our base. So our base has 6 units cubed. Now I stack those into layers, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of that. So my volume is the area of the base times the number of layers I have is 6 times 4 is 24 units cubed. So within that figure, I could fit 24 cubic units. Now, just to talk about this in the real world, our units could be anything, right? Our units could be meters, it could be inches, it could be miles, it could be feet, it could be yards, it could be centimeters, it could be cats, it could be pies, like in our little video we did today for Pi Day. It could be any unit of measure, although these are not standard units and we don't tend to use them. So now we're off to 6th grade math, and now we might have fractional dimensions. So again, we have over here, we have a figure, a prism that we want to find the volume of. And if we look at it, it's 5 cubes by 5 cubes in the base. So the area of the base is 5 times 5, or 25 cubes in the bottom layer, and I have 3 of those. So the base times the height, which is our volume, is going to be 25 times 3, or 75 cubes can fit in this structure. But those cubes aren't 1 unit cubes in this problem. They're half unit cubes. So this is 1 whole, 2 wholes, and a half. So this is 2 1/2. This is 1 whole and a half. That's 1 1/2. This is 1, 2 1/2. 2 1/2 units. So that's where these measurements come from. And just like I could multiply 5 times 5 for the base, I can do that over here. The area of the base is 2 1/2 times 2 1/2, or 6 1/4 inches. And my height is 1 1/2, so I have 1 1/2 layers of this. So that's 6 1/4 inches squared. That's squared, by the way, times 1 1/2 inches. And if I do all that fraction math, I get 9 3/8 inches cubed. So there you go. Now you're going to see the formula written a couple different ways for volume. You're going to see length times width times height. All right. And sometimes you're going to see a big B for area of the base times the height. And they're really the same. Length times width is the area of the base. So don't be thrown by that. The reason we use this second formula is it comes in handy when we start talking about the volume of cylinders and triangular prisms and things like that, because, well, you'll see that's for another grade level. So here you go. We want to find the volume of this rectangular prism, and it's made of 1/2 inch cubes. Don't worry about that so much. We have volume is the area of the base times the height. Or you could say volume equals length times width times height. And pick one of those formulas, fill in your numbers, and come up with an answer. We'll talk about it in class. Okay, now we're using a formula again for this. Same kind of deal. Volume is the area of the base times the height. Area of the base is 3 1/3 times 1. And the height is 1 1/3 feet. Okay? If I calculate this out, I get 4 4/9 feet cubed, or cubic feet. Remember, our units have to be cubic units for this, because it's volume, it's a three-dimensional space. All right, now they're looking for the volume of a cube, and they're wanting you to use another formula. You go ahead, do another formula, but let's look at this. We could still use, because it's a rectangular prism, the area of the base times the height, or length times width times height. It doesn't matter. But in this case, all the sides are the same. So we're talking about side times side times side. So the volume of a cube, where all the sides are of equal length, is just side cubed for our volume formula. So for this one, I have my volume of my cube is side cubed, or you could do length times width times height. Doesn't matter. Anyway, it's 2 1/2 cubed, which is 2 1/2 times 2 1/2 times 2 1/2, or length times width times height. And in the end, I got 15 5/8 inches cubed. Did I say cubed? Yes, I did. Cubed. All right, we got some straight up practice here. Again, pick your own poison. Volume is either the area of the base times the height, or length times width times height. Doesn't matter which you use. You're still multiplying the same numbers the same way. Get some volumes. Make sure your units are cubic units, right? This is going to be centimeters cubed. This is going to be feet cubed or cubic feet. And give it a shot. We'll talk about it in class.